When we think of haunted dolls, our minds often conjure images of cracked porcelain faces and dead, glassy eyes. Victorian relics, cloaked in shadows, whispering secrets from the past. But not all haunted dolls look like they stepped out of a 19th century nightmare. Sometimes they come from the unlikeliest places. Take the story of a family in Houston, Texas, whose lives were forever altered by what seemed like an innocent Christmas gift: a Disney frozen Elsa doll. Not all hauntings begin in old, decaying houses. Sometimes they begin with the things we bring into our homes. Objects we trust, objects we cherish. This is the story of a family in Houston, Texas, whose lives were forever changed by what seemed like a harmless Christmas gift: a Disney frozen Elsa doll. It was Christmas morning, 2013. The living room was alive with laughter. Wrapping paper littered the floor as a young girl tore open her most anticipated gift: a Disney frozen Elsa doll. The doll smiled up at her, its bright blue dress glittering in the twinkling light of the Christmas tree. "Mom, Dad, it's Elsa. She's so pretty." The little girl's excitement was infectious. She pressed the button on Elsa's chest, and the doll sang its iconic song, "Let It Go." Her voice filled the room, cheerful and full of life. In that moment, nobody could have imagined the nightmare they had just welcomed into their home. Elsa quickly became the little girl's favorite toy. She carried her everywhere, even sleeping with the doll tucked under her arm. But by 2015, things started to change. The first sign came when Elsa refused to sing on command. The family brushed it off as a technical glitch, but soon, Elsa began singing by herself, at odd times and without anyone pressing her button. "It's just broken. We'll replace the batteries." But new batteries didn't help. Instead, Elsa began alternating between singing in English and Spanish, something she was never programmed to do. The cheerful voice had taken on a warped, almost mocking tone. By 2019, the family's unease had turned to fear. Elsa's songs would start in the middle of the night, waking the household. Sometimes the doll would go silent for days, only to suddenly spring to life. It wasn't just the singing either. They began finding Elsa in places they hadn't left her: on the kitchen counter, in the daughter's closet, or on the stairs. At first, they thought someone in the family was moving her as a joke, but no one confessed. "Who keeps moving this thing? It's not funny anymore." The truth began to sink in. The doll was moving on its own. Determined to end the madness, the family decided to throw Elsa away. The father placed her in a trash bag, sealed it tightly, and threw it in the outdoor bin. For the first time in months, the house felt normal again. But their relief didn't last long. "Mom, Elsa's back." They found her days later, sitting upright in the living room, her unblinking eyes fixed on the couch. Nobody knew how she got there. The trash had been collected. The bin was empty. Growing desperate, the family reached out to a friend, a collector of unusual items, who offered to take the doll off their hands. They carefully packed Elsa in a box, sealing it with tape, and shipped her away. For a few weeks, the family felt at peace, but their friend called them one night with a chilling revelation. "That doll you sent me, it's back at your house. I swear it's not here anymore." Fear crept back into their lives as they realized Elsa had returned yet again. The doll seemed unstoppable. The family decided to destroy the doll. Late one night, they built a fire in their backyard and threw Elsa into the flames. Her dress melted, her plastic body bubbled, but her face, her haunting, unscathed face, remained. The fire had no effect. Elsa was invincible. Finally, they decided to send Elsa far away, to an unknown location, hoping the doll would never return. For now, the house is quiet. But the family lives in constant fear, waiting for the day they'll find Elsa in their home again. They don't know how she comes back. They don't know why. All they know is, she always does. Some objects are more than they appear. Some carry a darkness that can't be explained. This family thought they were buying their daughter happiness. Instead, they invited a nightmare into their home. The next time you hear a toy singing in the dark, ask yourself, is it really just a toy? The doll wasn't just moving or singing anymore. It felt alive. Objects around the house began to shift on their own. The family would find picture frames knocked over, furniture slightly moved, and doors that had been locked mysteriously left ajar. But it was the voices that truly broke their sense of safety. "Mom, I think I heard her talking to me last night." The little girl swore she heard Elsa whisper her name in the dark. At first, the parents dismissed it as a child's imagination. But then, the mother started hearing it too. A faint, melodic voice calling her name from the shadows. The father, ever skeptical, brushed it off. That is, until he woke one night to find the doll sitting at the foot of their bed. Desperate for answers, the family began researching the doll, hoping to uncover some logical explanation for what was happening. They found stories of similar experiences, objects moving on their own, toys that seemed to have a mind of their own. But one story caught their attention. A tale of another Elsa doll, sold in the same region, that had been blamed for a series of tragedies. The doll had belonged to a family who claimed it was cursed, bringing illness and bad luck. They too had tried to get rid of it, only to have it return. Could it be the same one? Number, that's impossible. The connection was impossible to ignore. The family began to believe they hadn't just bought a doll. They had inherited a curse. As weeks turned into months, the doll's presence began to affect the family's mental health. The little girl, once full of joy, became withdrawn and quiet. She refused to sleep in her room, terrified of being near Elsa. The parents started arguing more frequently, their nerves frayed by sleepless nights and the constant fear of what Elsa might do next. Even the family dog, normally cheerful, began cowering and growling whenever the doll was near. "This is tearing us apart. We have to end this, somehow." But how do you fight something you don't understand? How do you stop something that refuses to be destroyed? In their desperation, the family turned to a paranormal expert. A local medium agreed to visit the house, her expression turning grim the moment she stepped inside. The medium claimed the doll carried a dark energy, a presence that was feeding off the family's fear. She performed a cleansing ritual, chanting over the doll and sealing it in a blessed box. For a moment, it seemed like the nightmare was over. "Do not open this box. Keep it sealed and take it far away." The family followed her instructions, placing the sealed box in a storage unit miles away. But even that wasn't enough. Months passed without incident. The family began to relax, believing they had finally rid themselves of Elsa. But one night, a knock came at the door. The father opened it to find no one there, only a box, sealed with the same tape they had used months ago. He hesitated, his heart pounding, before prying it open. Inside was Elsa, her blue dress pristine, her unblinking eyes staring back at him. How is this possible? That was the last straw. The family packed their belongings and moved far away, leaving Elsa and their memories behind. For now, the doll remains in that house, waiting for its next victim. Some objects aren't just possessions. They carry something darker, something that defies explanation. The Houston family thought they were buying happiness. Instead, they brought a curse into their lives. Elsa still exists out there waiting. Perhaps she's in another home now, singing her cheerful song, biding her time. The next time you hear a toy in the dark, ask yourself, are you truly alone? Are you truly